The Naikando Method is a transpersonal breathwork method based on three main pillars. Number one, conscious energy breathing, also known as conscious connected breathwork. Number two, sound and frequency therapy. And number three, self-inquiry, which translates into the willingness to do the work as a facilitator. The method has its fundament in conscious energy breathing, also known as conscious connected breathwork, a circular one-channel breathing technique that goes back to Leonard Orr's rebirthing movement coming out of the Esalen Institute in the late 1960s, which in my understanding didn't have the aim to have people trip by applying the specific breathing technique, but in the first place, open them up to deeper emotional and spiritual layers of consciousness so they could then access and re-experience certain feelings and memories, and also reintegrate certain aspects, in particular the rejected aspects of oneself, in a more wholesome way, simply by embracing the entire spectrum of who they truly are. About 10 years ago, I had this beautiful transpersonal experience in that I became aware, not only on an emotional but also a physical level, how deep the healing power of sound can go. In particular, using our voices in the process of breathing into deeper layers of the self. And it was an experience that had me literally trembling in a way that I became aware of frequency breaking through inner blockages. And by doing so, paving the way into an expansive state in such a way that was both fascinating and also very much non-invasive. So ever since I started facilitating breathwork ceremonies, the conscious use of tuning forks during the process of a journey in both states of contraction and expansion have always been an essential part of how I would hold a session. Because it's always been a part that would support the breather in such a way he or she would naturally go way deeper in the process. And I would also use my voice in the means of toning during a session and encourage participants to use their voice as well, especially later on in the ceremony when in deep meditative states. And doing so has always been an enhancement, so to say, not only for the individual, but also the group when they would all tone together. Now, I'd like to say that among many of transpersonal breathing techniques, they only vary to a certain degree, and it ultimately depends on the space holding and guidance of the facilitator that will make the difference. But I truly believe that incorporating sound and frequency makes this method a cutting-edge approach that simply enhances the participant's capacity for self-healing. The toning aspect alone has the potential to take us deep down to a cellular level. Plus, when applied in the phase of coming down, so to say, which means the phase of discharge towards the end of a session, it allows us to calm down our nervous system to a maximum extent, because we all know what impact humming or toning has on the vagus nerve. So all in all, sound and frequency is an essential part of the Naikando Method. Self-inquiry takes time. Self-inquiry takes courage and the willingness to know oneself. Because we believe that we can only take people as far as we are willing to go ourselves. In other words, we can only recognize certain aspects of someone's process when we experience some of these aspects ourselves. Now, in this training, there's many transpersonal modalities rooted in shadow work, certain somatic approaches, guided meditations, and so on, that support every individual process, so this way everyone can truly tap into the essence of their being and work from that exact place, work from their essence. Knowing thyself translates into knowing the environment you're working in. In this case, the environment of sometimes deeply cathartic work that requires authentic space holding, devotion, safety, and above all, integrity. Now, these are aspects that spring from working from a place of intuition and working from a calm fundament, so to speak, so your client can enter a session from a solid base that is rooted in safety. Now, we strongly believe that this process should be given time, and in my opinion, a transpersonal breathwork training should always take place in a live setting, meaning an on-site training carried by a collective energy that supports you every step of the way. We experienced that some people had some major breakthroughs 4 or 5 months into the training. So that was not only a eye-opener for those particular participants, but also for us, in which it was a reaffirmation why we conduct this teacher training in this particular way and why it requires time and commitment. Doing the work again and again, and even more importantly, continuously integrate the learnings and experiences into our daily lives between modules. As transformational guides working with these powerful tools, we simply have the responsibility to honor integrity and authenticity. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you one day in one of our teacher trainings, a truly transformative journey that will guide you to the essence within.